Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Trooper Trigs. What I wanted to do today is take an opportunity to talk about probably my favorite thing that I collect, and that is hot toys. And as you can see behind me, I've got a lot of them. But not just specifically hot toys, but if you're a hot toys collector, how you can better display your collection and make it look as good as possible. As you can see behind me, I've got a lot of them on display. If you want to see a closer, in-depth kind of view of my collection, I have an older video on my channel. It's a little outdated to everything I have now, but I think it's definitely worth checking out. But after I made that video, I had a lot of people messaging me, where do you get the cabinets? Where do you get the lights? How do you do all this kind of stuff? And I just wanted to take some time and make a video to show you guys how I did that and where you can get the supplies to do that. Um, I think for more experienced collectors, you probably know some of this, but I think there's definitely some info that I haven't seen anyone in the collecting community really ever talk about before on how to display certain parts of the collection, and that might be worth staying around to kind of see and maybe implement it into your own collection. So I hope to help you guys out. If you have any suggestions for me too, just let me know. So yeah, let's head right into it. All right, guys, first and foremost, I'll just give you a quick overview of the collection. So you can see I've got 4 glass cabinets on this side. Then I've got kind of my dresser area with my TV. And then I got 4 more on this side. So now what are these shelves? Like I said, I think if you're an experienced collector, you probably already know. These are called detolfs, and you can get them from IKEA. They are about $60 a piece, and I know right now it is a little hard to find them, like they're in short supply due to the pandemic going on. But I think they are just the absolute best. You get your most bang for your buck with these shelves compared to other shelves, because 60 bucks a piece, it's not overly expensive, and I think it really just kind of lets you see the figures in all their glory when you have them on the shelves. You can just get a good angle from all angles, and when people like come in and check out my room, it always really kind of draws their attention more than just having just kind of what I used to have was just kind of plain wooden shelves, and they would get a lot of shadows and a lot of just kind of places where you wouldn't even see what was on display. So that's why I really wanted to upgrade to these. So I'm going to put a picture up on the screen for you guys, and I'm going to put a link in the description to check them out. You can check if your local store has them. If they don't, what you can do is you can just set it to notify you when they go back in stock, and then you can just drive down to IKEA and pick them up. All right, I'm gonna move over and show you guys my Marvel side and my DC side to talk about the lighting that I use. Now, I've seen a lot of people say when you go get your Detolf, IKEA makes special lights that are about 25 bucks, and they're made pretty much perfectly sized to put in one shelf. The only problem with that is it's 25 bucks per shelf, so you're looking at spending a lot of money on that. I actually did that at first when I got my first Detolf. I was gonna buy them, but I kind of decided I wasn't. I went back later and I ended up getting 2 more Detolfs, and then I toyed with getting 3 lighting kits, and I'm like, geez, that's 75 bucks. So I figured I'd do a little more research, and I found these lights. As you can see, I think they work pretty well. They're not 100% perfectly sized to the shelf, but I think for the most part, they work extremely well. They come with the remote. The remote is pretty simple. You can just hit off button. Let's see if I can. You just see on, off. You kind of have to get in the right area. But on top of that, they do change color, which I can tell you the IKEA shelves actually, or the IKEA lights actually don't change color. You actually have to pay an extra $5, so you're looking at paying about $30 for that. These are actually car LED lights, which you could put like inside your car or something. They're on Amazon. It's about, I think I paid $10 per set. So it was 80 bucks to get all this lighting, which sounds like a lot, but compared to paying 25 bucks per piece at IKEA, I think it's worth it. Plus you get the remote, you can change color. I'll tell you guys what I use. I usually use the orange light. I toyed with using the white light. I think that's a little bit too bright. Then there's also the yellow light, which is a little brighter. I like the orange. Someone who came and viewed my room described it as cinematic, and I would have to agree with them. I think it looks great. Like I said, about 10, they might be up to 12, 13 bucks. I think it's worth checking these lights out. You can also hook them. What I've toyed with is getting like an Alexa. You can just get a smart plug. I've got them all connected with different power strips and just extension cords. So I take it from my one outlet, take an extension cord, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. So it's just in the bottom corners, like in between the shelves. And then you can just kind of run the wires through the shelves and get them to be there. And then you kind of just have to tape them in place, which is what I did. But like I said, if you get an Alexa, you can just say, hey, Alexa, turn on the lights, turn off the lights. I haven't done that yet. I don't think it's that difficult to just the on-off button, granted. There is 8 shelves, but usually, sometimes let's see if I can do it. Sometimes multiple will go on and off at the same time, so I really like these. I think they were a great find, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about getting these specific lights in the collecting community. So like I said, I'll put a picture up, and I'll put a link in the description. Definitely worth checking out. I think it makes the collection look so much better to get that lighting on it. Okay, now this next part I was going to talk about isn't specifically Hot Toys, it's more Funko Pops, but I think it helps the overall aesthetic and look of the room. And that is, what I did is you just kind of get these bracket pieces. I got them at Lowe's. It was like 10 bucks for a whole bunch of them, more than enough for this whole shelf. You just hang these brackets up when you find the stud, and you just kind of drill them in. It wasn't that difficult. And then you just hang a whole bunch of wood up. And if you measure it right, you can get it so that it's basically the perfect measurement for your Funko Pops. So as you can see, they just kind of go all around my room, and I think it's a great way to kind of tie everything in together and just kind of put something up on the ceiling for you guys, for people to see, or for you to see. But I think the added benefit and how this could help the overall look of your collection room is with the lights that I hung up right underneath. So what I actually don't even have my main source of light on, my lamp there. I just have these LEDs on, and it just gives a great kind of look, and it matches everything. You can get these lights on Amazon too. I'll put a link for them too. But they also help where I've got this like Thanos up top. If those are turned off, you can barely see him. With them turned on, it helps see him a lot. Much like the car lights, these have a battery, and I don't even think you need to get a specific brand for this, but any kind of strip lights like this, you can find them just about anywhere. These, of course, also change light colors, variety of colors. I usually just do the white because I think it's the brightest, and I really like that. And like I said, it really helps kind of, as you see, I have a bunch of Legos on top of my detolfs. I should probably make it look a little more clean and structured. But I really like the look it gives. So like I said, you could do Funko Pops up there if you measure it right. On this side, I actually have a bunch of Transformers. Now, the one thing I have considered for this part is to put LEDs up on top of there to kind of light the Transformers themselves. You don't really need that for the Funko Pops. You can see them pretty well, but when you got actual figures up there. And now I could imagine you could do something similar like this with even like Black Series or Vintage Collection. If you measure it right, I think it'll look great. It gives you something to put on the ceiling, so that way you have got plenty of room for your detolfs on the ground. You can put Funko Pops, Black Series, whatever else up there. And then it also gives you the added benefit of being able to hang up a bunch of LED lights all over. Now, you guys probably saw, I've got a couple Lego figures up there. This is called, I don't know the official name, but everyone just seems to call it Lego tape. It's like $6 at Walmart for like a strip about that long. It's just another cool way to kind of tie it all in, multiple parts of your collection together without actually, now I personally don't like putting like Black Series and Marvel Legends in the same kind of shelf with my Hot Toys. But this gives you a good way to kind of display your Lego figures, because I don't really display them with my sets. So it's a great way to do that and might be worth thinking about. I don't know if you can buy that online. I'll definitely take a look. If you can, I'll put a link in the description for you guys and you can check it out. Okay, now the last thing I was gonna really quickly talk about is, say you get all your detolfs and you wanna put your figures in, how do you decide what goes in the detolfs and where? Now when I first got them, I only had one, and then I ended up with, I think, three, and then I got the four, and I was just gonna put them on the one side, but then I figured I should just mirror it, and I ended up putting four on this side. When I first kind of started it, I kind of just had a mix of everything in these different shelves, and there was really no rhyme or reason to where a figure was. What I've tried to do is, because the main two things I collect is Marvel and Star Wars, so I gave Marvel 3 shelves over here, and then I gave Star Wars 3 shelves over here. As you can see, the Star Wars shelf is definitely filled up more than the Marvel because I've been buying a lot more Star Wars recently. I do plan on getting a lot more Marvel. And then what I did is on the kind of corner shelves, I put mostly Transformers on this side, but I also had one extra thing there, so I put a Stormtrooper helmet. That'll definitely get filled up with the 3.0 Soundwave though when that eventually ships out to me. And then over here, I've got DC. I also have the Watchmen there, but they're technically a DC property. And then I just put Thanos on top of that shelf because he needed to go somewhere, and I really think he draws your eye when you first walk into the whole collection. But that's what I think I would advise you guys to do, just so you can kind of have some organization, so you can see Marvel over here, Star Wars over here. And then I've also I try to give each figure their own shelf, but I kind of have run out of room, so I think it's definitely worth trying to pick figures that go together. So like you can see, I've got Mando and Boba Fett. Granted, these two characters in this exact costumes, they never met like this, but they both met in Mandalorian Season 2. They're both Mandalorians, and I think they look awesome with each other. Obviously, Anakin and Obi-Wan go great together. A bunch of the Mandalorian Stormtroopers, which, by the way, that Remnant Trooper, I hope if you guys wanted that, you got that, because that figure is going crazy now, like on eBay and whatever. I got like Luke and R2. These are probably my two that go the least together, the vintage Boba and the Bespin Leia. But I think with that wall piece behind them, it kind of tied them together, and they're both Empire Strikes Back. You can see you got some Jedi, Stormtroopers. It's kind of like my Last Jedi display. And this is one of my kind of personal favorite displays. And I guess this is could go in with the collecting advice. The one on the left there that I'm pointing at, that's the Hot Toys. The one on the right is actually a model kit. You can get that for about 50 to 60 bucks on Amazon. It's so worth it. It looks great. It doesn't match perfectly, but I think it kind of works that he's a little bit taller. And then over there, the droid, that is a Power of the Force 12-inch Death Star droid. And he also comes with the mouse droid. And then over there, I've got, this was I think, was that part of the Saga collection from like Attack of the Clones? It was an Imperial officer, basically. He had a horrible head sculpt. It looked like a Ken doll or something. So I took that off, and what I did was I took the Commander Cody's head sculpt, because I felt really bad not putting it on the figure, and put it on there, and figured it's just kind of like a clone trooper officer after Revenge of the Sith. And I think it looks really cool like that. I think that whole shelf looks awesome. So this is definitely worth taking a look, kind of combining figures in the same shelf to create like a whole aesthetic look for it. And then if you get the kind of diorama pieces, like this came with that Hot Toys Stormtrooper, that back piece, that might be worth taking a look. Even small things like this Endor Luke, how he came with the shrubbery Bespin Leia, I think it really ties it all together. And you can see, I'll just move over, show you how I also combine figures like Optimus and Bumblebee over there. Put all the Watchmen together. And I don't have nearly as many Marvel figures yet, so I haven't really put too many on the same shelf, but you say you got Black Widow and Winter Soldier, and Captain America and Infinity War Black Widow down there. but I definitely plan on having to combine some more as I get more Marvel figures in. And I think you could just kind of create an overall shelf look that looks really, really great. Especially, like I said, that's one of my, even though it's in the back corner, it's one of my favorite shelves. Yeah, that's pretty much the last thing I wanted to talk about in this specific video, guys. Obviously, do whatever you want with your figures. It's your collection. You know, that's what this hobby's all about. Collecting what you like and displaying it however makes you the most happy. So I hope that I was able to help you out in some way. Comment if you do. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, it's trooper_trigs. If you got any questions, feel free to send me a DM or anything like that. I'm happy to help you guys out. All right, guys, have a great day.